Today, we got an update about Project Scorpio. Project Scorpio is the next console coming from Microsoft.
The next box.
Yeah, and according to the article on IGN.com, Project Scorpio is a full-blown next-gen machine, says Xbox dev, and that is coming from the creator of Ori and the Blind Forest.
What a game.
Thomas Mahler, who said something on NeoGAF. He said, Scorpio isn't just a half-assed upgrade, which the PS4 Pro kind of is, but a full-blown next-gen machine that's just backwards compatible to your current library.
Yeah.
I'm freaking stoked for the Scorpio.
So many good and bad things can be read from just that statement.
No! He says... I think he's throwing a little shade at the PS4 Pro.
No, and that's fine.
He's saying PS4 Pro is a half step. This is not a half step. Get ready for a next gen console.
No, like my face was this close to my computer screen today, trying to decide how much better Resident Evil 7 looked on PS4 Pro in 4K versus regular PS4, and I'm like, I think it looks better.
Yeah. Because you're cutting the graphics comparisons.
Right. That's people know my job. Yeah. I just do graphics comparisons all day, and it's like, yeah, the PS4 Pro. Like, so I booted up the Division. The Division got its PS4 Pro patch.
Yes.
And it looks like garbage. Like, it's the same. Like, nothing's different about it. I'm like, this still looks... I mean, I played the Division mostly on PC.
Now, so, you're sounding pretty negative, but you're actually a big PS4 Pro fan.
So, well, I'm a big PlayStation fan.
Yeah.
And I do like the Pro. It's hard. So, like, something one of our colleagues, Sam Claiborne, said once, before I think I even worked at IGN. So, like, The Witcher, right? Yeah. Runs at, like, I don't know if it's either 720 on Xbox One, 900 on PS4, or 900 on Xbox One, 1080 on PS4. And he's like, I like the Xbox One version. That's the console I like to play on. He's like, but it bugs me knowing that there's a better version of it out there, right?
Yes.
And it's like with PC, I mean, most people don't think about it because PC, that's like a $2,000 gap where it's like, I could just be playing this on PS4. Most people own both, right? Yeah. Like, you play Destiny on PS4 instead of Xbox One.
Well, it's just where all the software is.
Sure.
Because they have exclusivity deal. That's why I picked it, because for work, I'm like, well, if anything ever pops on this, I need to be able to cover it. Right. And I'm going to be totally covered on the PS4.
So it would bug you knowing that the PS4 version does get all these like little goodies and stuff like that, even if you weren't covering it for work.
Yes.
Knowing, but like we play with... our friend Brian and Sean and stuff like that. They
play
both play on Xbox. And they're always so mad that they don't get the stuff. And it's like, it's because you're playing on the worst version of the lesser of the two versions. Still a great version, but...
By design, unfortunately.
Yeah. And so that's kind of how it is with the Pro, is like when I am playing on a PS4. I play most of Resident Evil on a regular PS4. At work, I played on my Pro. At home, I played on my PS4. I didn't really feel it with Resident Evil because Resident Evil runs at like a pretty much perfect 60 frames, so that's fine. But it's like there is something weird about like knowing there's a better console out there. Yeah. It's like I'd rather just play it on there. But the Scorpio looks like it's going to be like way better.
Way better. Yeah.
The thing that scares me about it is this line right here. A full-blown next-gen machine that's just backwards compatible with your current library.
Yeah.
But is the Xbox One, are they sticking to their guns and saying that the Xbox One is going to be forwards compatible with every Scorpio game? So, or are they eventually going to get to the point where they're like, hey, Scorpio is the next generation, Xbox One is not selling well. I mean, the Xbox One sells great, but like half of what PS4 does. If they're eventually just going to be like, you know what, we're moving on. Scorpio is the way to go.
I mean, that's not what they've said. They've said basically that your library will remain consistent across Microsoft platforms. That includes, and they're working towards, everything's on PC and on your Xbox. So you can play the most up-to-date, graphically pretty version, or you can play on your console if you prefer a console experience on your television. And they're future-proofing. They said...
the thing that worries me about that though is that the fact is
from this point on, similar to PCs, you'll not lose your library when you buy a next gen system.
Yeah. It just when they showed us the Scorpio at E3 2016,
Wait, they didn't. They just showed a video.
Well, but I mean, like that's the only news from Microsoft we got about the Scorpio.
Well, we work for IGN, so we have to clarify. We didn't see the Scorpio.
We didn't see anything fancy.
We saw the same trailer everybody else did.
When we, as in a collective community, of gamers, saw the Scorpio announcement trailer. They made that little video, and Phil Spencer was like, "Hey, this is it's just being added. The family is growing." The full blown next gen machine is what's worrying me. A lot can happen in a year, and if they're like, "Hey, the PS4 Pro isn't selling like Sony thought it was selling. The Xbox One's not doing great. What should we do here?"
Who?
Like Microsoft. What if they're thinking that? Because we haven't heard anything about the Scorpio since E3.
So I've had a theory about this. I've talked about it on Unlocked, on IGN Unlocked. A lot on Unlocked. So what I think they're doing is I think they're stockpiling all their announcements. Yes. Yeah, they canceled Scalebound and they've canceled Fable Legends. But let's be honest. I think they were like, at one point, they're just like, we're going back to the drawing board. If this Scalebound thing doesn't pan out, we're canceling that too.
Yep.
And here's our lineup, and it's going to be awesome. And we're launching with the Scorpio this holiday. And this E3, we're going to rock everybody's world because Sony has been kicking our butts for 2 years.
What? So that's your theory?
Yes.
They're going to show up at E3 and
my blow us away.
Is that they're not going to wait till E3. My theory is that any day now, stuff's leaking, which means things are leaving Microsoft's headquarters and being passed out.
It's like patents and stuff, though. Tech documents.
So just a theory. Stick with me here. March, we're going to hear some sort of. You don't think so?
Go ahead.
When was the Xbox One announced?
No, go ahead, continue. But I'm gonna say
in March. We're gonna hear that Phil Spencer and Microsoft has invited everyone to a Scorpio reveal event.
That did not go well for the PlayStation 4 Pro,
but it did well for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, which were originally announced outside of E3.
And the Switch.
February and May and the Switch. Because E3, so here's my theory. At E3, Microsoft, they don't have any games.
They will for E3.
Exactly. So how are they going to spend that stage time? Talking about the Scorpio or talking about the games that are coming to the Scorpio?
I understand your thought process. They'll dedicate 15 minutes, maybe, like a big chunk of their presentation to the hardware and what it can do and how you're going to be able to play it. And they'd probably have to do that up front, right? And then everything else is just the games that people will be playing on their Scorpio. Okay. And then a short segment about however they're going to continue to support the Xbox One. I'm all in on the Scorpio. Like this thing, I'm
excited for it.
Unless they have a disastrous reveal, I'm in.
No, like I'll admit, I'm a PlayStation guy, and I'm like, but before I'm a PlayStation guy, I'm a console guy. Yeah. I like PC, but I prefer to play on consoles.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be like that whole thing where it's like you're gonna be playing games even on your PlayStation Pro. You know that the Scorpio is just gonna be chilling over there. 4.5 times stronger than the console you're playing.
You're worried about software.
I'm worried about. I'm worried about the fact that Microsoft doesn't have any games, but I'm worried about the fact that whatever's going to come out.
They do have games, but maybe not the ones that you're into.
I mean,
they have everything.
Halo 6.
You mean exclusives?
I'm worried about their exclusives. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is like when the next Tomb Raider comes out. And it's like, here's the Xbox version. Old Mark over here doing a graphics comparison. And he's having to watch the Scorpio versus Pro version. The Scorpio's looking fantastic.
Yeah.
Man, might have to switch. We'll see. No. That's a topic for another day.
I'm all in. I'm excited about the Scorpio. Your theory about an event, that's a very good point. Everybody's been doing console reveal events.
Yep.
It needs to be like the Switch. You need a lot of hands-on games that people can play. Yeah. Xbox really needs to kick ass with whatever their next thing is.
And that's why I think there needs to be an event. They need a day to themselves.
Yeah.
They don't, at E3, it's Nintendo, or no, Nintendo's the next day, but it's like Ubisoft, Activision, all that stuff, and then it's like Microsoft, and then PlayStation always goes last. and then Nintendo the next day. And it's like, no, they need a day to themselves in March or April to just be like, like the Nintendo Switch. That thing got a whole day, 2 days to itself for people to just play it, for people to write news about it, read news about it. And so that's why my theory is that any day now, some sort of invitation is going to be thrown out. Come to this reveal event in New York or whatever, and we're going to reveal it. That way at E3, it's about the games. Yeah. Because they really need to get their game messages out there.
Yeah, they just need a killer lineup. They need to do better than whatever Sony has, and Sony has just consistently crushed with their announcements.
Well, and Sony just announced, like, we know pretty much every first party except for whatever Sucker Punch is doing. We know that we can see to the finish line of PS4. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, people are theorizing, and I agree, that Death Stranding is a PS5 game. But it's like, so then that means we know pretty much every PS4 exclusive, and it's like Microsoft just needs to like come out and say what they're doing. And I think Nintendo's going to do the same thing. I think they're saving, because people are like, okay, so we have Mario, we have Zelda. What else is the Switch guy? I think we'll know at E3. This is going to be a great E3.
Oh yeah.
This is going to be a good one.
So Scorpio's going to launch, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's going to do well if they have the software. They need the software, and I trust Phil. He's done fantastic things for the Xbox brand since he's taken over. It's just like, man, us Xbox guys, we need a huge win. We really need it.
And that's why I think the Scorpio is going to do
We've been doing okay last year and the year before that, but like,
well, and the console sells well, but it's...
Yeah.
Super.
I don't want to see consoles go away, but that's a separate conversation.
Sure.
We should probably wrap it up. I know you got to get out of here.
Yeah. So... Let's end with the theory. You think have you come to my side? Are you thinking Xbox at E3?
I really like your theory. I think they save it all for E3, and they have an awesome E3.
Okay, my theory: awesome E3 about games because they've announced the Scorpio in either March or April.
The thing is, though, if they announce the hardware, what do they show to show what the hardware can do? Tech demos.
Yeah, no, it's hard because like the PS4
Pro
conference. Yeah, it was a train wreck.
Hey, we have Mass Effect trailer footage. Yeah. Can I play it? No.
Well, and they're showing things that
here's all our old games. All right.
Well, they're showing things they can't. Like, here's Days Gone, and now we're gonna turn on the HDR, and you're like, cool. That doesn't look any different.
Yeah. That was a challenging conference for them.
That was tough. It's always this like balance beam of how do you show off the Scorpio. I think what the obvious thing would be like, oh, show how much better it is than the Xbox One, but it's like you can't do that. 30 million Xbox Ones are out there. You can't, after only not even 4 years, be like, this is the Scorpio. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. The Xbox One that's under your table, garbage.
Throw it away.
Scorpio's where it's at.
You sell your one. You sell your one to fund the Scorpio.
And that's what happened too. No, yeah, and that's the problem with the Pro too, is they couldn't come out and be like, look how much better Tomb Raider looks on it.
Yeah.
Take your old PS4 and throw it in the garbage bin.
It's definitely a challenge.
These mid-console upgrade things they're tough.
Yeah.
They're tough.